Well, royal advisers have been weighing up the big question: should King Charles accept an offer from Heathrow Airport to name a terminal after him? The eco-conscious king is reportedly reluctant to accept because of environmental considerations. Or maybe he was just reluctant to have King Charles and terminal in the same sentence. The Green King is not so concerned about emissions that he minds Prince Harry making a 17,000-kilometre round trip to attend his coronation for a couple of hours, nor is he upset that there are 12,000 flights scheduled to land at Heathrow in just 10 days around his coronation, as dignitaries, heads of state and international tourists arrive to pay him tribute. But pointing out climate bedwetter hypocrisy is a fool's errand, since the hypocrisies are not a bug, they're a feature. Bugs, of course, are what we'll all be encouraged to eat.
We are going to have to take some very brave steps. We will have to develop much more sustainable or durable forms of food production. And
on that subject, of course, King Charles is leading the way.
The business of what we eat, of course, is important. I mean, for years, I haven't eaten meat and fish on 2 days a week.
Very brave indeed. But back to Heathrow. The UK's largest airport wanted to mark King Charles' coronation by naming Terminal 5 in his honour, which, let's face it, would have been really good. King Charles could have flown out of the King Charles Terminal for the next climate change conference, where he could have lectured us all about the dangers of fossil fuels before flying back to the King Charles Terminal. But no, like all the climate catastrophists flying around the world warning that if people keep flying around the world, there'll be no world to keep flying around, King Charles is a man of principle. He understands what's at stake. And when I say steak, I don't mean ribeye. You're not allowed to eat that anymore if you care about the environment. But I digress. King Charles told a meeting of world leaders in Glasgow back in 2021,
"We must now translate fine words into still finer actions."
So by rejecting Heathrow's offer to name Terminal 5 in his honour, King Charles will translate fine words into fine action around fine words by rejecting the airport's suggested wording. This, of course, enables him to take a real stand against climate change by doing something rather than just using words. He's rejecting words, and so that's real action. Naturally, having taken this principled stand, he will still be perfectly free to continue using his planes and helicopters, but because it's Terminal 5 rather than the King Charles Terminal, the climate will not be affected.
It is a last chance saloon, literally. Because if we don't really take the decisions that are vital now, it's going to be almost impossible to catch up. I mean, it'll be catastrophic. It is already beginning to be catastrophic because nothing in nature can survive the stress that is created by these extremes of weather.
Perhaps Heathrow should name Terminal 5 the Last Chance Saloon. Anyway, having had their offer of a terminal named in his honour rejected, the airport has announced that they will mark the King's coronation in a different way. They now plan to issue all passengers coming in and out of the Last Chance Saloon with a commemorative luggage tag marked CR the 3rd, 2023. So from now on, every time people get on a plane, they can be reminded of King Charles' commitment to fight emissions. That's if the baggage handlers haven't knocked off the commemorative luggage tags first. Now, I don't want you to think that rejecting Heathrow's offer is the only thing King Charles is doing to save the planet.
My old Aston Martin, which I've had for 51 years, I mean, that I managed to convert, because I'm not going to drive it. I hardly have a chance of driving there anyway, really, but that runs now on waste products. Waste runs on, can you believe this, surplus English white wine.
You heard him right. The King's Aston Martin runs on surplus English white wine. As Mel Brooks famously said,
"It's good to be the king."